School me on these debates that they be having about your identity as a South African colored person. What does that even mean?
Can we, yeah, can we not, por favor?
Oh, I like that. We keeping that in the interview too. They had 6 things they didn't want us to ask. You want to know what those 6 things were?
Yeah.
They didn't want us to ask about Kai Cenat. The whole "we friends" though thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like, huh? They didn't want us to ask about her not being on tour with Chris Brown anymore. They didn't want us to ask about the color thing, her injury that she sustained. They didn't want to ask us about who she was dating, which I wouldn't do anyway. It was just all frivolous
And
stuff.
why? What are they trying to do? They're trying to protect an image that they're curating for her?
I have no idea. And that's why I said...
Oh, the Rihanna thing, comparing.
Oh, yeah, and comparison. And it wasn't even Rihanna. It just said comparisons to other pop artists. Huh?
Oh, so they're trying to separate her from Kai Cenat. She's her own individual. Don't tie her to him.
And you want me to not ask her about Kai Cenat the day after Kevin Hart just was on Kai Cenat's show again with
Bringing
a big-ass sign that said "we friends" though?
Yeah.
Like, come on, yo. So I said to them, no.
Oh.
Now, when I say no, I'm not going to oblige any of this. It is your job then, label, management, whoever, to either prepare the artist for the questions or pull the interview.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm fine with either or.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about Charlamagne the God and the Tyla situation. And I've seen a few clips, seen a few comments going around on like how the interview went and how it was awkward and how, you know, she didn't want to answer the colored questions. And it's just a lot, guys. You know, some people are even saying that she has a bad team, you know, like even Charlamagne the God, he came out and said that they didn't want the interviewers to talk about, you know, Kai Cenat, you know, because she friend zoned Kai on stream. Some of them, they said not to talk about the Chris Brown and her on tour kind of thing, her injury. I think, did she talk about the injury? I mean, I feel like she's a bit reserved, or like she doesn't say the full answers when it comes to interviews, but like basically they didn't want any of those kind of questions. And some people are like, it's simple questions, it's not that like deep, you know. But again, with the colored situation, again, it's with history, some people are more sensitive about it. If you haven't seen my previous video on my channel, somewhere I have talked about the colored situation about Tyla. But yeah, I feel like even if she did address it and everything, she would still get more backlash, you know, like what she done earlier about not identifying as black, you know. So either or, it's not gonna stop anything, you know. You can't control how an audience, you know, perceives you, you know. And I know that her team is trying to make her look like very clean and proper and this, and it might come to like her demise in a way, because like you can't control how people are going to react, you know. People are going to talk how they want to talk, you know. Whether you say or specify why you don't identify as black, or whether you keep quiet, people, as you can see, are still talking, you know. But yeah, some people are like, I'm not feeling kind of Tyla. Sometimes some people are calling her a bit snobbish, or you know, I don't know. It's just a lot, guys. But when I do see some of her interviews, it's a bit like she's a bit reserved in a way, but she doesn't go in detail with some of the answers in a way, but also like maybe a bit passive, maybe a bit slightly passive aggressive. But again, I don't know her personally to know how she is. Some people are also saying that she needs media training and like how she handles the situation. Some of them are a bit more empathetic, saying that she's young. On the other hand, some people are like, Charlamagne the God is being too aggressive, he's petty, he's dragging this young girl kind of thing, like, you know. And some people have their own thoughts on Charlamagne the God. Even another person says, this is like the first time, I'm paraphrasing, this is like the first time I'm actually agreeing with Charlamagne the God on this one, you know, because most people are against Charlamagne the God because he's really what do you call it, like very extra, but also like controversial, but also like problematic in a way, similar to like a Wendy Williams has, you know, one person has said that Charlamagne the God is similar to like a Wendy Williams. There's pros and cons to that. Clearly, he's needed, he makes conversation, shall I say, but yeah, tell me you guys' thoughts on this Tyla situation, man. For me, I just feel like even though people might be still sensitive about the colored situation and she might be tired of talking about it, I mean, again, it's up to her, but at the same time, like, being too picky, or her team being too picky on the questions that they don't want them to ask them, is a bit like, because like, how are we gonna like connect with Tyla as a person, because like, similar to like the Beyonce and Rihanna situation, some people are like, they resonate more with Rihanna because she has more personality and she interacts with her fans more, and Beyonce is more reserved, and when she puts out a product, it's like, buy my product, but she hasn't like had an intimate relationship with her fans in a sense, she's more like corporate, shall I say, if that makes sense. Pardon me. But yeah, tell me your thoughts on this, guys. I'm gonna play the videos on other people's thoughts on the Charlamagne the God and Tyla situation. But yeah, type in your thoughts down below, and yes, bye guys.
I really hate when celebrities make things more complicated than they need to be. All Tyla needed to say was, in my culture, I'm colored. I'm fine with y'all calling me black over here if that's what you need to do, but just know I'm technically not black, I'm colored. That could have been the end of that. Caitlyn Clark could have said, I don't support racism with my name being used. If you want to be racist, don't use my name. You're not a fan of mine. Or she didn't even have to say you're not a fan of mine, okay? Because maybe she down with it. But you just don't use my name in it. Could have left it at that. I'm tired of people making it seem like these need to be points of discourse. They don't need to be the points of discourse. These are very easily solvable situations that people who need to take responsibility for their fans don't want to do for some reason. Because no one is saying either of those people are responsible for the conversations that are happening around them. But you are responsible for mediating it because they're your fans. They're your fans. You need to set them straight. You know what Beyonce does to us when we misbehave? She disappears, and then we silent, we mute, we get our acts together, and then she comes back. Like, handle it some way. Handle it whatever way you need to, but handle it.
I'll wait until after the Breakfast Club interview to side-eye Tyla for evading those questions. I started looking at her sideways when she won that Grammy because I'm like, Tim's wasn't nominated, Ava Star wasn't nominated, Burna Boy didn't win, and Lord knows they had 2023 on lock with those Afrobeats music, and I still listen to Tim's. I still listen to Burna Boy. Like, Tim's had the best album, hands down. But everyone's arguing the fact that, Tyla, she had the most streams in one day when her song came out. Okay, and she's from Johannesburg, so it's not surprising. Her family probably paid for her to get as far as she did because Johannesburg is the capital of Africa, and they are the wealthiest country in Africa. And Burna Boy, Tim's, Ava Star, first of all, they're dark skinned, let's be honest. Second of all, they're from Nigeria, which is known for poverty in Africa. And they look down on people from Nigeria. I mean, she literally evaded those questions. She wasn't going to answer those questions. I don't even know why she even came to the interview in the first place. Because everyone knows as much as you don't like Charlamagne, he's going to press and he's going to get the real answers out of you. And they know they want her image to be something that they don't want the narrative of her image to change at all. They want people that look like her, again, people that look like Drake, they want people that look like Drake to be the face of hip hop, to be the face of rap. Now they want people that look like Tyla to represent Africa, South Africa, West Africa, whatever part of Africa. When we think of Afro beats, they want us to think of Tyla. That's what they want us to think. They don't want us to think of Tim's. They don't want us to think of Burna Boy or Ava Star. They don't want us to think about them. They want us to think of Tyla. Programming at its finest. I'm not falling for it. Like, I'm not knocking the girl. She's young. She's learning. But I really feel like she's just a manufactured artist that was placed in that position. She comes from a wealthy family, so I'm not very surprised about that at all.
Let me show y'all a clip of Charlamagne talking about Tyla and her interview on The Breakfast Club real quick.
I said to them, no.
Oh.
Now, when I say no, I'm not going to oblige any of this. It is your job then, label, management, whoever, to either prepare the artist for the questions or pull the interview.
Exactly.
So when Tyla went on The Breakfast Club, my first question was, why even go? Why go? Yes, The Breakfast Club is a large platform. They have a lot of listeners and viewers, right? They definitely do. however, there are large platforms dedicated to talking about music and artists, right? And they've been doing so for years. And the Breakfast Club is not one of them. The Breakfast Club is not for the culture. It's the place you go to talk about the culture. You understand what I'm saying? It's literally mindless entertainment. It's no different from the Wendy Williams show. It's literally no different, just more than one host. All of them put together equal like half of a Wendy, and they're trying their best. Anyway, I was wondering why she even went, because like, of course Charlamagne was being rude. That's what he does. People were saying, oh, maybe he was ignoring what the label told him not to ask, and he's just being an asshole and blah, blah, blah. And maybe that's the case, but once again, that's what he does. Why go? Charlamagne himself said, the label said, hey, don't ask about this, this, and that, right? Charlamagne said, no, I'm going to ask anyway. Then they sent her there anyway without any preparation. So once again, I ask, why did she even go? Where's the research? Is she being set up? Because it feels like it. Anyway, her manager is a black man that manages Aquafina, the Asian girl that pretends to have a hood black scent. Or at least she used to. I don't know if she still does. I don't know. That girl. To me, that just adds a little layer of context. I don't know if that means a lot, but it does add some context, I think.
Tyla choosing to surround herself with Black American music, Black American culture, Black American artists, Black American publications, but refusing to talk about her racial identity is an interesting choice. It feels very disingenuous, but an interesting choice nonetheless.
By now, we all seen the Breakfast Club interview with Tyla, where Charlamagne asked Tyla a question that was deemed off limits. From what I understand, because I did some asking around, is that the Breakfast Club was given a list of questions that they couldn't ask, and they said, nah, we're not going to comply with this before the interview, and then the interview went on anyway, and what we saw transpired. And ultimately, I think everybody will be fine, but it brings up just a good discussion point, right? And me being a veteran in the media and having done so many interviews, just from my perspective, yo, that sucks when somebody comes in with a list of questions that you can't answer. Quite often it's the artist's team. Sometimes the artist isn't even involved. I decline it. You know, once you start with me of what I can and can't ask, I'm like, well, don't come then. I'm not the right platform for you. I'm not the right interviewer for you. I'll share a quick story. More recently, when Kanye and Ty dropped Vulture, somebody from Kanye's team, and I don't know if Kanye was directly involved in this conversation or this mandate, but asked me if I would be interested in interviewing them. But the only caveat was that we had to just speak about the music. We couldn't speak about nothing else. And I declined because it just wasn't the right thing for me. Even though I love nerding out over music, it just felt like there was too much to ignore. So I chose that it wasn't the right thing for me. But quite often, media, journalists, interviewers are put in this position or try to be put in this position. And it sucks. We're professionals, man. Like, and if you don't feel that I'm the right one, don't come to the platform. That's it, man. But what do y'all think? I know it's going to be a lot in the comments, man. Let me know what y'all think.
The whole Charlamagne, Tyla fallout is an example of why it's so important to take control of your narrative. You can't let your agents, your PR people, your managers completely control your narrative because they will mess you up. Tyla's a talented babe and I feel like she's smart as well. But when you have people in your ear who are supposed to be more experienced in the field you're stepping into, you trust them, you take their advice. But the whole, we won't answer questions on this and this and this and this and this and this and this. And then the show host being like, well, we're going to ask you anyway. Rejected. And then you still go on the show. Poor, poverty-infused advice. You have to back yourself. You need to know who you are and you need to know what you're comfortable talking about and not talking about, and push back if your team are chatting in a language that is not making sense. Because I get there are questions that you just don't want to answer, but there's a way to do it. And you can't go on a talk show, radio show, podcast, anything and think that you're going to completely control how it goes. You need to back yourself and answer questions that might be a little tricky in a way that's going to give the people something, but also maintain your integrity. And also, I swear some of the questions weren't that deep. Like, I don't know what the thought process was for the team meeting, because don't ruin my girl's career. Yeah, we'll see, but take control of your narrative, back yourself, don't let other people pull strings when it comes to your life.